Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. This week we are going to be playing a 5-color control list that I have slightly modified. The original list I found posted on No Goblins Allowed by user Skyrider. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not sure if I am or not, but I just made some small changes. Those changes are, in the original list, there were 3 Skyrider Elves. I cut one of those for a Jace. And also in the original build, there was a Green Warden of Marasa. And I switched that out for an Emeria Shepherd. The reasons for that were twofold. First off, they still have not fixed the bug where Green Wardens trigger where when it dies you can exile it to get a card back from your graveyard. That still doesn't work. It just exiles itself and you get nothing. And secondly, the Emeria Shepherd is just super powerful, especially if it lasts more than a turn and you get more than one trigger off of it. You generally don't need to play it until you can actually play it and play a land to trigger its effect in the same turn. But anyway, I'm going to leave that for a little bit later as we go through the list here. This deck runs 3 Jaddi Offshoots for early defense and life gain. 1 Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which was my addition, because Jace is just awesome. He is really good in a controlling deck like this. He's really good just period, but even so. We're running 2 Skyrider Elves. These allow you to have either early drops to throw roadblocks in front of aggressive decks, or later in the game they are large flying threats. 2 Pilgrim's Eye for mana fixing. 1 Nissa Vastwood Seer, because she is awesome as well as mana ramp and good control from her planeswalker side once she flips. 4 Natural Connection. These are being run because we need the color fixing as opposed to the just straight out mana ramp that Nissa's Pilgrimage gives. 2 Radiant Flames as an early game board sweeper. 2 Woodland Wanderers as huge, vigilant, trampling threats. 2 From Beyond as ramp, blockers, and tutor ability with the Search for Eldrazi. 3 Brilliant Spectrum for card draw. 2 Languish as a little bit later game board wipe. Gideon, ally of Zendikar, as a planeswalker that protects himself and also is a huge threat. A lot of times in playtesting, I would play him, emblem him, then get him back with Emeria Shepherd and emblem him again. That's not always the correct play, just depending on what you have in your hand, but he's just an all-around great addition to this deck. 2 Planar Outburst as the big daddy of board wipes. 2 Angelic Edicts as removal for creatures or enchantments if they have an enchantment that's being especially annoying. This is an answer to Ulamog, so that is important also. 1 Ob Nixilis Reignited. All his abilities are very relevant in this deck. The destroy target creature is great. The drawing cards is super good. And if you ever get to the point where you can emblem him, then he ends the game really fast as well. We're running 1 Oblivion Sower as a huge blocker with a very large butt there. And also potential acceleration if you can hit some lands off of his exile ability. We are running 2 Nissa's Renewal. Again, this serves multiple purposes. It ramps you, it mana fixes, and it gains life to keep you alive. 1 Emeria Shepherd. This is my other addition to the deck. The landfall ability is very good. We don't have a ton of planes in the deck to trigger putting the permanents directly back into the field, but we do have 6. We have 2 actual planes and then some duels that are also planes. 1 Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger as your ultimate finisher of choice there, as it has been since it's been released on Magic Duels. Then our mana base. 2 plains, 2 islands, 2 swamps, 1 mountain, 4 forests, 2 Smoldering Marsh, 2 Sunken Hollow, 2 Cinder Glade, 2 Canopy Vista, 2 Prairie Stream, and 4 Evolving Wilds for a total of 25 land. I did play around a little bit with adding another land because I thought 25 was a little low. The truth is, you do have some issues sometimes with getting to 3 land to start your mana ramp, but I found that by adding another land, then you flooded out a lot more than you wanted to. So 25 does seem to be the correct amount in my testing thus far, but that's enough rambling on about the deck list. I will post my copy of the list in the description below, and I will also link to the original list on No Goblins Allowed as posted by Skyrider. But without further ado, let's get in there and play some Magic. Okay. This is a bit of a slow hand, however it does have Jace and the ability to cast Jace perhaps even on second turn along with Pilgrim's Eye, so I think I'm going to keep it. Would much prefer a hand that led off with Jaddi Offshoot into some mana fixing, but you can't get exactly what you want all the time. Sometimes you've just got to make do with what your deck gives you. Especially with this deck, as much variance as it has between the 5 colors and the different answers and things, you just have to learn to make the best of what you have at the moment and maneuver yourself into a position where you can gain incremental advantage and win the game. And I don't know if our opponent is actually there, as they let the timer run out on the mulligans and is now letting the timer go on this as well. May have hit the go button to pair up and then walked away from their computer. Okay, it looks like our opponent has come back to their computer. That I'm assuming I was correct in them walking away for the moment. May not be the case. Go ahead and play another Evolving Wilds. We will fetch for 2 basics then, and our battle lands will then start coming into play untapped. We'll probably fetch for a green and a white. Okay, go ahead and do that now. Fetch for a forest and a plains. There we go. And then, despite having Pilgrim's Eye, we are going to play Jace, because I want to start looting with Jace. Pilgrim's Eye doesn't really accelerate you, it just fixes your mana, so there's no huge incentive to go ahead and play that over Jace. Looks like we are playing a ramp deck possibly as well, though it could just be some sort of control variant with the evolutionary leap. Does look like it is straight red-green thus far, though. Let's go ahead and loot with Jace. No reason to wait till our opponent's turn, since we're not planning on blocking with Jace. It's best to go ahead and just use him. What to discard? This is going to be our second white, so I think we discard the forest. Then we can play Jaddi Offshoot to start gaining life. Play our Prairie Stream and our Pilgrim's Eye. And with the Pilgrim's Eye, I will get a second forest, I believe. Just in case our opponent is playing Acid Moss and kills our 1 green source. Yep, there's Acid Moss. Probably will go for a duel of some sort. Looks like they're going... No, they're going for the forest. Okay, then. So we can flip Jace now. which I am going to do. And we will discard a Smoldering Marsh. We will tick Jace up on nothing. Then play our From Beyond and attack for 1. Despite getting acid mossed, I actually am not too unhappy with our position at this point. May even potentially be able to win via a Jace emblem. Haven't done that very often in Magic duels. Would be very interesting, if nothing else. So our opponent is ramping because of the pilgrimage there. There's a Perilous Mirror. 1, 2. It's hard to tell how many lands our opponent has when they're tapped, the way that the graphic is here. Looks like they've got 7 total, maybe, give or take. Planar Outburst is nice. I do believe that we want... Let's see, I don't think we have anything to flash back, no. So we are going to tick Jace up on the Perilous Mirror. Then we will attack to see if we can draw anything out of our opponent. Fiery Impulse or something. Okay, Evo Leap. And he is trying to prevent us from mana accelerating. He killed the thing there. The Eldrazi Scion. Got a Visionary. Visionary doesn't scare me. What Visionary might draw him into could scare me. Let's go ahead and let's see, blue, white, black, green. So we can go ahead and cast Brilliant Spectrum for 4. Alright. And I think at this point I want to ditch the Offshoot and the Pilgrim's Eye. I think the rest of these are better options for us. Natural Connection actually ramps us, putting the land into play, so it's better than Pilgrim's Eye in that respect. Well, there's a Gaia's Revenge. Luckily we have Planar Outburst at our disposal. We will be blocking that. We want Jace to stick around. And most likely Planar Outbursting. Could take the chance with Gideon and just play Gideon and make an ally rather. No, I think I'm going to play Planar Outburst. So we will attack. Then we will drop our land and Outburst. Without the Awaken, we don't have that yet. Opponent will sack with Evo Leap. We'll see what they get. Perilous Mirror, okay. And don't forget to plus Jace here. See if our opponent has anything besides... Oh, Plated Crusher. Well, that's something, isn't it? It's Trample, I believe. So we may need to flash back Planar Outburst with Jace. Okay, we got a land. We will play that. So we can Natural Connection and then Planar Outburst as well, which is probably the play. We'll go ahead and Natural Connection. Getting a black source, I suppose. Probably should have gotten a white, since now looking at my land, I'm a little bit overloaded on black. Then we will minus Jace on Outburst. And go ahead and cast it. Evolutionary Leap is a bit of a problem. Visionary, that's fine. Perhaps we can get Gideon going here if our opponent does not play another large trampling threat. Acid Moss, okay. So that is getting rid of one of our white sources, I would imagine. Looks like it. No, one of our black sources. Well, our sole red source too, I believe. Though we've only got 2 red in the deck, so it's not a huge issue. Alright. Okay, Canopy Vista is a thing. Go ahead and play that. And I could flashback the Brilliant Spectrum. I think that's probably what I want to do. Let's go ahead and do that. Brilliant Spectrum, confirm. We'll cast it. We do want to cast it for 4, and that is fine. So draw 4, discard 2. Angelic Edict is nice. So I think I want to discard Evolving Wilds and Natural Connection. We've got Nissa's Renewal here for additional mana ramp, and then we can go ahead and play Gideon and make an ally. Looks like our opponent's going to kill Jace. That's fine. Jace has done his duty thus far. Gatecreeper Vine. And we will make a 2/2 white knight ally. And that will be our turn. Our opponent has 11 mana available. Wild Size. Pre-combat. Guess for the card draw? Alright. Looks like they are very much trying to draw into something. I would guess that something would be Ulamog. Oh, Chandra's Ignition. That will do some good work too, it seems. Yep, so Gideon is leaving the table. And I like holding on to Angelic Edict for Ulamog. However, getting Evo Leap off the table is a really good thing to do as well. I think I'm going to cast Brilliant Spectrum first to see what my options are. That's fine. Okay. So we'll discard Natural Connection and Prairie Stream. We will then play Cinder Glade, and I think I am going to Edict the Evo Leap. And hopefully this doesn't come back to bite us. Hopefully our opponent doesn't hit Ulamog here. They got Oblivion Sower. I mean, that's not nearly as bad as Ulamog, but it is not super good either. So our opponent's at 12 mana, so now even if we top deck our own Ulamog, we can't really stop them from casting theirs. Looks like they didn't get any lands from Oblivion Sower, though. They didn't get our Ulamog either, so that's good. We're going to be playing our 10th mana here. And casting Nissa's Renewal. Just to make sure they can't stop us from Ulamogging either. And in this situation, I would generally say whoever Ulamogs first loses. If our opponent casts Ulamog, then we search for our Ulamog and remove their Ulamog. And our opponent might have just realized that, because I think they declined to sack from beyond to search. Firebird is a pain in the butt, though not horrible by any stretch of the imagination when we're at 30 life. Lots and lots of mana ramp from our opponent here. Would very much like to get an Emeria Shepherd, I think. Yeah, we'll go ahead and block the Sower. Just stem the bleeding a bit. We won't be sacking from beyond. There's Angelic Edict. So that is good. There's really not a ton to be done at the moment. I suppose I could cast Outburst with Awaken. That wouldn't be a horrible idea. We will use these. Alright. I'm going to cast with Awaken. We want to use the colorless mana, please. Oh, which land do I want to awaken? I suppose I want to awaken on the island. Yeah, please. Thank you for using the colorless mana. Yeah. Oh, it only used one of them. Well, that's sweet. Either way, that's fine. We will go ahead and swing for 4. And perhaps pull this game out. Remains to be seen if that is possible. It just depends on what our opponent has left in their hand and in their deck. They've got a lot of acid mosses. That's one thing that's for certain. Okay, Firebird's coming back. May want to Edict the Firebird. May want to Edict the From Beyond, though they can use it in response. It is making infinite blockers there. I think for now I'm okay with swinging and getting blocked every turn. For the moment, at least. I'm not going to cast this Offshoot because it's not going to do anything at present, and there's a good chance we will need to Languish at some point in the future, and then it would just be out there to die. Another From Beyond, so that is bad. We need something here. I may be forced to just Edict the Firebird. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. See, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana. So even Ulamog killing lands will not stop us from casting our own. So let's attack first. Yeah, getting blocked, getting one through. And we will go ahead and Edict the Firebird. And we'll play our Evolving Wilds. And again, I'm still just not playing Jaddi Offshoot. Even though it would gain us a couple life. Would rather have it to play as a blocker in the future if that becomes relevant. Sage is bad. So we're going to have to go ahead and search. Go ahead and get Ulamog. We will hold it in our hand. And while Natural Connection does nothing at this point, we may not now want to attack with our 4/4 because they could triple block, killing the 4/4, and then they're producing 2 creatures a turn, whereas we are not. I think I'm going to just attack with the Scions. And losing our friend Beyond was actually very, very bad there. We may be in a position where we just cannot win this game. Because as it stands, our opponent is not going to have to cast Ulamog to win. Brilliant Spectrum. That draws us out faster, but it could give us an answer. So I think we've got to cast it. Yep, for 4. So that's actually okay. We will discard the Offshoot and the Connection. Confirm. And then we will cast Emeria Shepherd and play a Plains, getting back probably Gideon. Yeah, Gideon. And making it an ally. We are also getting to the point where, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack with this, where our opponent could be running a Rolling Thunder or Ravaging Blaze or something like that and just straight up burn us out. We haven't seen any of those thus far, and that kind of worries me. I don't really see playing a straight red-green deck and not running an X burn spell of some sort like that. Though it could be the case. Radiant Flames is quite good here. We have to cast it for 2. I could Emblem Gideon, cast Radiant Flames for 2. Leaving our knight alive, they could go ahead and kill it. Or they could kill our Emeria Shepherd, for that matter, at the same time. Let's go ahead and attack with our Angel. See what we can get back with our land that we would want to cast. Guess we can get back From Beyond. We should probably do that. Let's go ahead and make a knight. Get back From Beyond. We will cast that. And we're going to cast Oblivion Sower as well. And maybe if our opponent doesn't have Ulamog in their hand, we can exile it. That is, if they don't search for it first. And they didn't. That leads me to believe they had it in their hand. And it looks like they may not be playing any X spells. But in any event, we will pass the turn to them. Wild size for card draw, it seems. Gatecreeper Vine. Looks like they are playing some number of Zendikar's Royal, though. We saw that in Exile. They may be playing that instead of X spells. Alright, passing to me. We have a 2-turn clock on the board as it is via just the Angel itself. Just thinking here. Probably want to plus Gideon and swing with him. Let's see. Yeah, that's the play. We'll see what happens. I think this may actually win us the game here. We're going to plus Gideon. Well, no, we can't, because I can't cast Radiant Flames for 1. That makes my Shepherd vulnerable. However, we could still get in for 4 damage with the island. So yeah, maybe it is the play. I'm going to risk it in any case. We're going to cast it for 2. Yeah, that's fine. They can kill one of our creatures. Short of a fog or some other removal, that should be game. Attack with all. And that was a very drawn out match that we actually managed to win. So I'm quite happy with that. Okay. I do not like this hand. I have no mana fixing. I'm going to mulligan. And despite having 5 lands, I like this, so I'm going to keep it. We can fetch for green, play Offshoot, play our another land to start gaining life, and we've got Natural Connection for further mana fixing. And Gideon is pretty good. Our opponent did mulligan down as well, so that is nice too. Maybe playing... Nope. was about to say we may be playing against mono red, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Go ahead and pause and sack Evolving Wilds. Get a forest. Okay, we got a second forest. We'll go ahead and play our Offshoot. And we'll play Evolving Wilds for the extra life gain and mana fixing. We will fetch a Plains with it most likely. Then Natural Connection for our next Plains. And having 2 basics will let our Smoldering Marsh and other battle lands come into play untapped. Looks like our opponent is off to a very slow start. I'm not going to pretend that I'm upset about that. I'm not at all. Alright, so second Smoldering Marsh. We're not going to be hard up for black or red mana at all this game. And I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and play Natural Connection. And get a Plains. Ought to have waited just in case of Monvuli Acid Moss so our opponent wouldn't know quite exactly what to kill of ours. Acid Moss seems to have made a bit of a resurgence in play and the number of those being played lately. Alright, so we will play a Sunken Hollow and play Gideon. Hopefully we can start drawing things that aren't land now, since that's all we have left in our hand. Gideon may be enough to get there on his own though, if our opponent isn't able to muster something very quickly. There's a Gate Creeper Vine. I mean, that's something. We will be pressing Gideon to attack with his 5/5 form. Trying to not only deal damage quickly, but keep him out of Exquisite Firecraft kill range. And our opponent says that's enough. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. We will attack. Probably see Gideon blocked here. Yep. And we will play the Prairie stream. You know, 1 green mana is really all you need to function in this deck. But you really do need it early on, which is why there's more green sources than anything else. Chandra could potentially be a problem, but not with this. So, just in the name of getting damage through, let's go ahead and kill her. Exile her, rather. And we will plus Gideon. And swing for 7. Opponent does have mana now. It may still not be enough, just depending on what sort of deck they're playing here. Well, I am kind of surprised that they're still not able to cast anything at all on 5 mana. Go ahead and plus Gideon again. 2-turn clock here, barring some damage mitigation from our opponent. We'll see what happens. Nice thing about drawing 3 red sources is that we can cast Radiant Flames for 1 if need be. So Rolling Thunder is in this deck. I don't know why, which it's an AI, but I don't know why they would do that as Gideon's still lethal. Doesn't matter though. All in all, this has been a super quick game as far as this deck is usually concerned. And I will see you in the next one. Okay. This is not perfect, but it's pretty good. Let's keep this. Perfect with this hand would probably be a Jaddi Offshoot straight away. but you can't ask for a whole lot better than what we've got here. Though we are one white source short of casting these. Should be able to get there, I would hope. Yeah, we should. Just going to go ahead and play our other battle land, as we don't have any 2 mana plays to make here. Get them into play for the purpose of mana diversity. Been playing a lot of red-green decks today. Maybe this one has a 3rd color in it. Doesn't appear so. Nissa. Nissa will be quite nice. I'm going to go ahead and pass. Cast the connection on our opponent's turn. Not super relevant, as they're not going to be at 4 mana for Acid Moss or whatever. Yeah, we'll go ahead and cast Natural Connection here. And get a Plains. Would love to top deck another white source so that I can go ahead and slam Gideon here. Not very likely. And it didn't happen. So we will play a forest. And pass. Still make our opponent guess a little bit if they're going to land destruction us as to what to go after. I would expect, which they're not going to have the ability, I would expect an Acid Moss there to probably target our Smoldering Marsh rather than our Plains, but they have sure drawn a ton of Gate Creeper Vines. Well, let's go ahead and connection for our 2nd white source. And only other basic Plains in the deck. Okay, there's another white source, so that's nice. We'll play it and play Gideon. Probably should have flipped Nissa there. Wasn't really thinking. Put out a knight. I could have played Nissa first, played the land to flip her, and then played Gideon as well. That was a mistake on my part. I should have paid attention to how many lands we had in play. We can still do that next turn, but it would have been much better if we'd have went ahead and done it this turn. 2 planeswalkers are exponentially better than 1 usually. Yep, there's Acid Moss. Going after our black source, as I figured. Hopefully we won't be needing that black source too awfully soon. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have a Fiery Impulse in hand either. So I'm going to go ahead and plus Gideon and start attacking with him as well as our knight. Could be super careful with Nissa. Play the Evolving Wilds this turn, pass, leave it uncracked. Play her next turn and play a land. And then if they try to kill her in response to the flip, sack the Evolving Wilds to flip her again. I think that's actually what I'm going to do at this point, since I neglected to do the correct play last turn. Our opponent does have 7 land out. They could very easily cast something relevant, such as Gaia's Revenge, and kill our Gideon. Rolling Thunder, though, that will kill Gideon as well. Who I very much imagine is the target, and he is. So, that's not even relevant now as far as fetching with Evolving Wilds, so I'm going to do it before it goes to our turn. Our opponent's tapped out. Go ahead and get a Swamp. We will play Nissa. Yes, I would like to use that ability. Make sure to fetch the one, or play the one we fetched with her, so our opponent doesn't know that we have another forest in our hand. And plus 2 reveal. That's good. We will play that as well. Get our second swamp. Yes, please. And go ahead and attack. See what kind of resistance our opponent can muster here. Now up to 8 mana. Another Rolling Thunder. I mean, that's resistance for sure. So killing probably Nissa and the 2/2, or maybe the 1/1 and damage to me, because the 1/1 is a flyer. Another instance where I would very much like to draw Emeria Shepherd. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. They only had enough. Well, no, they had enough to do 6, so they did 2 to the 1/1, I suppose. Brilliant Spectrum was an excellent draw. I'm going to cast it pre-combat. Yes, for 4. Okay, we drew a lot of lands there. Probably want to ditch the Evolving Wilds and the Forest. Kind of want the Jaddi to still be there. We'll attack before we do anything else. All right. Then we can play our Woodland Wanderer here for the full 4 Converge. And a 6/6 Vigilant Trampler is a pretty good threat. Next turn we have Oblivion Sower. Ooh, Zendikar Incarnate. That's pretty large. Well, first, let's see if our opponent wants to trade his Zendikar Incarnate for our Woodland Wanderer. Seems so. I'm happy with that exchange. So we will play Jaddi Offshoot. And then Oblivion Sower targeting our opponent. And we didn't get any lands. Lots of people trying to play Zendikar's Royal today, it looks like. Omnath, I'm really happy to see that out of there, as well as the Act of Aggression. Or Act of Treason. I think Act of Aggression was the Scars of Mirrodin one that you could pay Phyrexian mana for. I'm going to hold... Well, no, maybe I want to cast Natural Connection here as well. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play it. I was going to say I would hold that swamp in case we do draw Emeria Shepherd to have a for sure activation for her. Nine mana on board. 10 now. Our opponent could untap next turn and cast Ulamog on us. That would not be great. Gaia's Revenge this turn. Okay. And not swinging with it. Okay. From Beyond is nice. I think I'm going to go ahead and swing with Oblivion Sower. I really don't care if my opponent trades Gaia's Revenge for Oblivion Sower. Looks like they are a bit afraid of going down. Play From Beyond here. And pass. Hopefully we don't get Ulamogged right here. We're getting acid mossed, though. What are you targeting? Okay. We want to tap that for green and play Natural Connection off of it. Suppose we'll get another blue. Well, that's fine. We have 10 mana on board. And they have, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So getting Ulamog is not a good idea here. Because if we cast Ulamog first, killing 2 of their land, they can still untap and Ulamog us, removing our Ulamog. It's funny how whoever casts the first Ulamog usually loses. Okay. I think I will hold on to that Sunken Hollow. Swing with our Knight ally. He's hung around quite a long time thus far, seeing as how his general has gone from the table. Go ahead and pass back over. Another Gaia's Revenge. Okay. So we may need to Planar Outburst here. We will block with our Scion. Which we can sort of do forever. I think we've only got 1 basic left in the deck. Still, that does gain 7 life. Let's go ahead and attack, see if we can get 2 free damage in. Yeah, we don't super need to Planar Outburst here. We've got plenty of defense with the From Beyond on the table. I think we're going to go ahead and Renewal just for the life gain to get the last basic out of our deck. And pass the turn. We can block that Revenge forever if they don't deal with our From Beyond. And our opponent has had enough, it seems. Not attacking there. Brilliant Spectrum is an excellent draw. It's fine. Tap those, please. Jace. Woodland Wanderer, Radiant Flames. Huh. Probably want to ditch the flames and the Sunken Hollow. Then we can attack and get 1 in, or we can sit back. I think I want to sit back. Go ahead and play Jace. I will hold Woodland Wanderer for now, in case we want to outburst and then play it post-board wipe. If Jace survives, he will be flipping into his Planeswalker persona. Just wondering if our opponent's holding Ulamog in hand. We'll go ahead and block that guy. From beyond of their own. Interesting. And searching for Ulamog. AI is not super smart. And I can get a free block out of Jace, or maybe get our opponent to target it with Ulamog, so I'm not going to loot and flip at this point. I am, however, going to attack. Not with Jace, though. Jace doesn't do much on attack. Okay. Kind of expected to block the Scion because it would live, but again, it's AI instead of human, so you can't expect a lot from it. Attacking with Revenge. Okay. I'm going to block with the Offshoot here. I want the mana from the Scion. And I don't want Planeswalker Jace to be exiled by Ulamog. And there is Ulamog. Targeting from beyond. Okay. Sacrifice it. Get our Ulamog. And that should be definitely game. Go ahead and attempt to flip Jace here. Okay, discard our Offshoot here. Don't need the life gain now. Alright. So, here's Ulamog. We'll get your Ulamog and one of your duels. Can't get this because this is a non-green spell or effect. Do we want to... I mean, I don't think we can flash anything back even if we wanted to at this point. So we will plus on nothing. And continue to hold these lands in my hand as potential Emeria Shepherd triggers. And pass. I mean, we could have played another land and flashed back our draw spell, but that would have been bad because it discards 2. So we've been drawing 2 and discarding 2. Because these guys produce colorless mana. Okay. That's not good. Although it's not going to kill us. Go down to 1 card. And then we should win if they don't have an instance, the instant speed version of that. What is it? Traitorous Instinct? Because we are going to go ahead and play this. Then we will sack. Planar Outburst with Awaken. Yeah, I guess we'll Awaken on our mountain. I want to use the colorless mana. Please, thank you. Okay, and not the mountain. Okay? Because Ulamog's indestructible. He lives through that. And we win with 0 cards in our library. It's pretty exciting. But that will do it for this episode of Friday Night Magic, friends. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like below. It really does help. Consider subscribing to the channel so you can be notified when I upload new content. And until next time, be excellent to each other.